I love just looking out my window and seeing the mountains. It's just so beautiful, the countryside of Wales. It's absolutely gorgeous. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do an update on you guys in reference to what's been going on with me. The light's not that great because I'm in the bedroom. Because obviously I have the baby. So I wrote some stuff down in reference to an update just about me moving to Wales, part of the United Kingdom. So I wanted to start off basically with what I've noticed in reference to, first let me just let you guys know that I moved here on May 15th and it is now April 27th. So it's been more than 6 months for this update. Actually going on a year since I moved. My gosh, May 15th is going to make a year. That is insane to me. But I've noticed that me being here for almost a year that I started to pick up on some British terminology, like British slang. Like the other day my husband's like looked at me weird. I'm like, what? He's like, you just said to be fair. And that's something that they use here in Wales or in the UK. And I've been using a lot of the terminology and I think it's mostly just adapting to your environment, because I'm not going to get anywhere if I go to the grocery store and I'm like, can I have an eggplant? They're gonna look at me like I'm crazy because they call it aubergine. So a lot of the terminology for food and a lot of the terminology for certain things, like bin instead of trash can, you know, I can't tell David go get the trash bags, even though he would know, but now I'm just like, can you get bin liners? So and mobile phone instead of cell phone. So me and my son have both picked up on a lot of British slang and British terminology, and that's just, again, adapting to your environment. So that's been happening, and I wanted to do as far as like driving, I still haven't accomplished that yet. It was something I definitely was going to do after I was pregnant, after I had my son, but unfortunately coronavirus happened and I wasn't able to do that. So my goal is to have my husband teach me how to drive a manual, because here in the UK mostly all the cars are manual. I know in the US a lot of cars now that are being made is both manual and automatic, but the #1 version of a car is automatic in the US. Over here is sort of like a luxury thing. Not a lot of people have it, so everybody mainly have them. Here, once you move to the UK and you have a driver's license, American driver's license, as far as I know, and me doing my research, you can use that license up to a year here in the UK to drive. After that, you will have to do the driving test. My driver's license expired on December of last year, so I would just have to full on do the test, which I'm fine with. That's definitely something on my list and something for me to accomplish. As far as like finding a job, I haven't done that yet as well, so I can't give perspective on the job force and just how looking for a job is different from the US, because I haven't done that yet. But I've decided, because I was pregnant and I'm going through the lockdown, I want to go out, and I decided that I'm going to go back into the workforce a little bit earlier than I expected. So once my visa is finalized, because that's still in limbo, again, that's in limbo because of the lockdown and coronavirus. So once I get approval on that, then I'm gonna go out and start searching for a job. So I can't make my experience on that. So that's definitely going to be something in the future. Right now I'm still working on my resume, which in the UK they say a CV. I'm just kind of forming it, transitioning that into a CV. My husband's brother is going to help me with that. So that's something. Again, I talked about the food from my last video of 10 shocking things about moving to the UK. I did get a lot of feedback from a lot of people. A lot of people got offended by the stuff I said about the food and stuff, which just blows my mind because it's my experience, and I'm not saying, or I'm not trying to diss the culture or the cultural things that they eat. I'm just saying my experience, and a lot of things that I didn't realize, that didn't click in my head, that was different in a different country. So it's just a shock. It's like, you're like, ooh, I didn't know this. And then you realize, and then you kind of go forward with that. And some people just took that in a totally different way. It just went through one ear, came out the other. But yeah, so again, been here for almost a year. Not really affected by the fact that McDonald's doesn't have mayo or whatever, what have you. I think I'm kind of used to it. And I'm used to the products, I'm used to the food, I'm used to a lot of things not having sugar, as far as like the drinks, the soda. I'm used to having 1 liter instead of 1 gallon, because in the US you buy juices and stuff and it's by the gallon, even the gas. And over here everything's by liter. So I'm used to that. A lot of the things that shocked me in the beginning in reference to how products are made, you know, shopping in a grocery store, how things are labeled, all that stuff is behind me now, and I'm used to it being here. So it's not a shock to me anymore. Let's see. I'm gonna talk about my son's school. It's very different than American school as far as like the curriculum and how they do things. But as a year of him being in school, from him dealing with school in America and then here, it's such a huge improvement in reference to his writing skills, his, you know, reading skills. Everything has improved 100%. So the curriculum here of how they do things in Britain has really benefited my son, and I'm really, really happy about that, because that was like one of our #1 things that we were concerned about in reference to me moving here. And I do want to go more in depth into the schooling, but I actually want to do it with my son so you can get his perspective on it. But yeah, so that's going really well as well. Let's see, I think I talked about everything. Oh, NHS, as far as like dealing with the hospital and everything. Like, I'm gonna be real with you, just gonna cut in with the whole coronavirus thing. I'm actually glad that I'm living in the UK while during this pandemic than in the US, because I don't like the way the US is handling it. I think the exposure of this virus in the US is exposing a lot of the things that's been a problem in the US as far as like healthcare, racism, and everything like that, and just the culture base of handling that, because a lot of people are protesting to go back to work. It's kind of bittersweet, I get it, but at the same time, we've learned from other countries who's gone through the lockdown and how it benefit them and how they're slowly getting back to normal. America hasn't even been in a lockdown for a long period of time, and people are already protesting. Here, of course, people are upset, but you know, people are very respectful of what's been set in place, and a lot of people have been genuinely social distancing. And I'm speaking on my experience living in Wales, in the town that I live in. You see that when you go to the store, you see that when you go walking, people leave their distance. And I'm actually glad because again, I had my son during this whole pandemic, and when we were in the hospital, they were very strict. Like, Malachi couldn't even get in there. No kids were allowed. David had to leave at a certain time. I mean, it was just, it was a total, like, I felt comfortable and I felt secure. I felt that. I didn't felt weird about giving birth in reference to the circumstances that was going on. I felt safe, to be honest with you. My experience dealing with the healthcare here in the UK, and an update on that because I've been here for a year, I can't say anything bad about it. I think the only thing that I've experienced that I was just kind of like, what the fuck, was that I went to the emergency room and I stayed there for 8-hour wait time. And that was because my surgery was closed a whole week because the doctor went on vacation and they didn't have anybody to back her up, and they didn't send us to a different surgery. So me going into the emergency room, dealing with my miscarriage, I had to go to the emergency room, which I felt like I could have just went to the doctor. That was the only thing that I was just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? Like, the wait was just like crazy. And not knowing if you were pregnant, if you're still pregnant, was just eating at me. So that played excuse me, that played a part as well. But as far as like going to my doctors and dealing with the midwife and giving birth to my son, it was amazing experience. They were hands-on. They're very attentive to my needs. I don't have any faults. I think my delivery and the birth of my son was absolutely amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better group of people who, you know, assisted me. It was really good. And I'm not gonna lie, leading up to that, I was not confident in the hospital. I was not confident in the midwife and how they did things differently in the UK. I wasn't confident in that. But in the outcome of it, it was such a great experience, and I wouldn't take it back for anything. So I'm really happy that I'm able to use NHS for my health living here. I haven't met any friends yet. That's another thing I want to update on. I haven't met any friends yet. Again, to me, the fastest way meeting friends as an adult is your job, and or going out with somebody that you know, if I'm a member, and meeting their friends and their friends. But again, I haven't had opportunity to do that because, you know, I've been out with David's sister a couple times and I met her friends, but it's not something that I kind of like took to myself and be like, oh, let's meet up some other time. No. I've only been hanging out and going out and things with David and his family. I think it'll be easier for me to meet friends once I find a job. You know what I'm saying? As of right now, the only friends that I have is my husband, his sister, his brother, family, basically. I haven't met any friends yet. And I try to do like this, like baby center, and do like, you know, meetups with other mommies and stuff like that. But it just didn't feel comfortable. Like, it still felt really weird to me. So I will say, when you move to a different country, it will be hard in a sense to meet friends if you're not socially going out there and doing things. And I really wasn't, because I was pregnant. So I mean, I've done a few things where I did a PTA, and some of the mommies for my son's PTA seemed pretty cool, but it wasn't really like anything for me to be like, hey girl, here's my number, let's hang out. Because I felt like they were really a tight-knit group of people, so I didn't really get to jump into that. I was just kind of like, I'm a type of people, like, if you don't show interest in me, or if you don't, you know, show that you want to welcome me, then I don't beg for friends, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just kind of like, all right, cool, you know. So hopefully in the near future, that would be something I can definitely give more feedback on once I start working and kind of seeing how things are in that realm of things. And I think that's it. I think that's everything I had to update you guys on. Do I regret moving? No. Am I happy that I moved? Yes. I do like living in the UK. I do like living in Wales. I love just everything about it, as far as like the culture, the Welsh culture, and I'm happy that I moved. And once in a while, I'll just be sitting down, either drinking tea or just relaxing, and I'll just think to myself, like, I cannot believe I moved. I cannot believe I live in Wales. Like, it's just still mind-blowing to me. It's a beautiful country. The Welsh culture is very beautiful. The Welsh hospitality is very beautiful. And every Welsh person that you see will be proud to be Welsh. It's such a great thing to see, and to be a part, especially my husband and his family. And I don't regret moving. If you're thinking about moving, or if you're kind of, you know, on the fence about it, but you know, on the other side, it's a good opportunity, I would do it. Because for me, I think it's one of the best choices I've ever made in my entire life.